Welcome back, everyone. How was that session? Good? It's a great way to wrap up the last couple days. It's been an incredible experience. I am not going to take up much more of the oxygen in the room because I feel like there's an incredible closing panel we have for you. But I just want to tell you one story because I heard, interestingly, recently that our U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, has said that there's an epidemic of loneliness happening in our country. Have you read this? Have you heard this? There's an epidemic of loneliness. I mean, obviously, coming out of COVID, there's isolation, the depression, the mental health challenges. And I really do believe JCCs and JCC-affiliated camps, we are the antidote to loneliness. We help bring people together. We make people feel the sense of belonging. We help them make friendships. We build relationships with them. And we do that through a Jewish lens. It's like JCCs are a microcosm of Israel, right? A Jewish home that welcomes Jews and non-Jews under a big old mezuzah, right? So that's what we're all about. So I'll share a quick story before I introduce our incredible panel today. But I was in Israel recently. I was on one of these incredible solidarity and service trips, and I had the opportunity to give back, to be there, and meet with a number of hostage families. And I met with this one father. His name was Danny. His son was taken hostage from the Nova Festival. And he's living up north, and he just was living in this nightmare. The way he tells the story, he says, he didn't know what to do, but he knew he had to come to Kikar Chatufim, the hostage square, to just be with other family members who knew what he was going through, because it's so hard, it's so painful. And he sat with our group, and he said, look, I just drove down. I came down 3 hours, and I didn't know what to do, and I'm at the hostage square, and somebody comes up to me and says, do you have a place to stay tonight? And he said, no, I'll be fine. And the stranger says, no, you're going to stay at my place. And Danny's like, thank you so much. Thank you, that's fine. Kind of one of these, like, thanks, but we'll figure it out. And the host knew that that's what he meant, so he came back a few hours later, and he said, no, really, Nu, come with me. And Danny was like, no, thank you, I appreciate that, I'll appreciate that. That's fine, thank you, tell me the address, I'll be there. Of course, he didn't come. A little bit, I don't know, more polite than most Israelis maybe. But actually, a little bit later, this host came back and he said, no, now I'm taking you in my car. I'm taking you with me to my home. He takes him to his home, this beautiful flat in one of these wonderful high-rise buildings in Tel Aviv. And Danny walks in and he sees the gorgeous art on the walls and the beautiful vases on the shelves. And the guy hands him the key. And he says, I'm going to go stay with my sister so you can have your alone time. And Danny's like, he says to him, wow, look at all this incredible, beautiful. You know what? As soon as you leave, I'm going to take this stuff and I'm going to put it in a car and I'm going to drive away. Because this is really him. And the host says, do whatever you like. You have the key. My home is your home. My home is your home. Now, he found out a couple days later that Danny was having a hard time sleeping because he usually falls asleep with the television on and there was no TV in the bedroom. So he went and he had a TV installed in the master bedroom so that Danny could sleep better. My home is your home. Meanwhile, he stayed there for 3 months. The two of them went from being strangers to being brothers, and they refer to each other as brothers. And the two of them have this relationship to this day. By the way, they never talked about what are your politics? Are you left? Are you right? They never talked about, are you Orthodox? Are you secular? It didn't matter. It just came under this banner of my home is your home. And that's what every single one of us in this room are doing every single day. We're making sure that our homes are the homes for everyone in our community, our camps, our JCCs, and everything we have to offer. So my hat's off to all of you in this room that work so hard. Thank you for making my home your home. I think the idea you have hopefully come away with is that we are one people. We are mishpacha, we're family. Whether you see us as spouses, whether you see us as parents and kids relationship, or as Sally Flinchbaugh, the COO with me in Palo Alto, likes to say, maybe we are just siblings that are adult siblings, that we've matured, we've changed with points of view, but we're still family. That way you can't really divorce each other. You may not always agree. You're going to meet each other around the Passover table and fight, but at the end of the day, we're family. This is what people is. And you can bring this to your JCC or your JCC-affiliated camp. You can bring this in any way that makes sense for your own community. As we look at these flags out here, whether you have folks in your community that care and have a relationship with the JCC in Krakow or in Serbia or in Mexico or in Argentina, You're not asking those folks, what are your politics? What's your religiosity? You're just giving them a big old hug because they're part of our family. And when our family hurts, this is what we do. Lisie and I were talking before. This is the last thing I'll say. Lisie, you've done an incredible job with the JSummit, really. Only took you 6 years, but well done. So Lisie and her husband Michael are here. Part of their time they spent in Aspen, and we were talking about this notion of the aspen tree. Do you know that the aspen tree is the largest single DNA, single organism on Earth? Some of you may know this, some of you may not. It's the single largest organism on Earth that shares a single DNA, like a 100-acre grove of aspen trees, one single DNA. And what's beautiful about the aspen grove is that it understands if there's, doesn't matter, tall, short, wide trunk, narrow trunk, if there's one of these trees that's hurting, that's somehow suffering, the other trees will divert their own nutrients to help sustain that one tree because it's all part of the single ecosystem, the single DNA. And we were talking about this is the beauty of Aspen, but this is the beauty of the Jewish people. We are all together sharing a single DNA, part of the same people, part of the same mishpacha, and I am just honored to be here and be a part of you. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of this community. David Wax, am I bringing you back up here? All right, come on back up. Ladies and gentlemen, President of the JCC Association Board of Directors, David Wax.
Thank you, Zack. What a morning. The Z3 project, your brainchild, brought to life here. Special thanks to, obviously, Prime Minister Bennett and Ariella Saperstein, whose conversation brought the concept to life meaningfully and eloquently for all of us. Zack touched upon also acknowledgement for Lisie Gottdenker, and now it's my honor to ask her, before we conclude, bring her on stage. Lisie, you have been extraordinarily persistent and unwavering in your commitment and drive to bring this gathering to fruition. I've said before, you ought to be committed for your commitment. I met Lisie many, many years ago. I don't know, you joined a couple of years after me, and in our work within the JCC Association Board, and her shared commitment to the JCC movement. But Lisie has been of trusted counsel to me personally, and in good times and in tough times. And I very much appreciate all that you've done in that effort and being that trusted advisor. Your leadership through these last 6 years has been inspiring, pivotal, and critical. You believed in the value. You fought for this because this gathering and the impact on our movement and its leaders, all of you that are here, your tireless efforts to make it happen have paid off. Sometimes I heard it said in some of the sessions that we've been in, we're doing things and you don't know how it's going to go. I've told this story before, we're coming together, first time in 6 years, and it's kind of like you're setting off to rob a bank. And you never really know how it's going to go until you're actually in the vault. But truly, we live in strange and uncertain times. Yeah, we got in the vault. But as I say, we live in strange and uncertain times. But I can say now, today, as we conclude, we have moved the movement forward, upward and onward. So on behalf of JCC Association's Board of Directors, the official stuff, the staff, the entire North American JCC movement, it's my pleasure now to present you with several gifts, the parting gifts, as a token of our appreciation and thanks for the many ways you support our endeavors. First, for the light that you have brought to our movement through your warmth and genuine care and appreciation of others, we will be presenting you with these Shabbat candlesticks that are these candlesticks that are part of this group of gifts that I'm going to give her that are shown, I think, on the board or something. I don't know. I'm told. Handcrafted in Israel. The intention, may they bring light to your life and remind you of the light that you bring to others, both throughout and beyond the JCC movement. As a reminder of how you have so generously shared your own spark to ignite sparks. Within each of the leaders in this room, we will present you with a matchbox as a reminder of the sparks we all share as the Jewish people. And lastly, I'll gather them all up here. Don't drop them, David. One of these is the tzedakah box, which is to serve as a reminder of how grateful we are that you, Mr. Michael down below here, so graciously lead by example through your generosity. You give without being asked, and then you inspire others to give as well. You are the epitome of philanthropic leaders, and we appreciate this and the many other ways that you support our movement. So with all that, I say thank you, my dear. So now, the floor is yours. Lisie, take us home.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, David, and thank you, everyone in this room. Michael and I will forever treasure these beautiful items as mementos of the last 3 days and of the 6 years leading up to it. I promise not everything takes 6 years. As tokens of the love we all share for the JCC movement. I would be remiss if I didn't add several thank yous to my partners, the people who were instrumental in bringing this conference together so successfully and without whom it would not have been possible. First, to the JCC of Chicago, thank you, thank you, thank you. For your gracious and generous hospitality, both here at the hotel and most especially at the Lake County JCC, where we had an amazing visit yesterday. And a very special thank you for the tickets to today's Cubs game. To our generous sponsors and partners who have made JSummit 2024 possible, we are indebted to you for the opportunities you have made possible for us to learn, to grow, and to connect, to create a community that continually grows in strength and vibrancy and unity. Thank you. To each and every one, thank you. To each and every one of the members of the JSummit Committee, the time and energy you devoted to creating this conference are beyond measure, and I am proud and honored to call you colleagues and friends. And lastly, but certainly not least, a huge thank you to our JCC Association of North America staff, which includes everyone on the team. Here in Chicago and back home in New York, Jennifer Mamlet, Randy Luderman, Joanne Harmon, and Hindi Coman have all been on this journey with me from the beginning. Carrie Darsky, Mark Young, Annette McCann, Sawyer Schwartz, Gabe Most, and Lila Menekar are more recent additions to our journey, but with no less valuable contributions. Each of you played a critically important role to ensuring this success. We could not have done this without you. And while it has been my honor to be among those who worked tirelessly to create this experience, we could not have done this without you, our JCC movement leaders. I hope that you are leaving here feeling inspired and poised to return to your JCCs to continue making a huge difference in your communities, further powered by your extended JCC movement family. We hope you enjoyed this JSummit, and as we build the next one, we want and need your input, your feedback, and your guidance. Please complete the JSummit evaluation so we can build an even greater JSummit next time together. We have a lot of work to do, but I feel empowered and supported by our movement and its leaders to do the work, and I hope you do too. I reflect back on Rabbi Cosgrove's charge, Lazman Hazeh. How will we lead during this time, and Hineni? What will you do to say, here I am? This is our movement. This is time together. This JSummit is just the beginning of our renewed partnership and ongoing work together. As I said at the beginning of JSummit a mere 2 days ago, we are returning home as something more than we arrived. More than leaders within our OJCCs, we are leaders of our movement. I challenge each of us to hold that responsibility, that duty, our history, and the opportunities before us close in our hearts and our minds. Try not to get lost in the day-to-day. Keep it present and let it guide you forward. Use the connections and resources and network you've gained here to help you shape stronger communities that support our shared purpose into the single mission of our movement. Stay connected. We brought the themes of partnership, leadership, and peoplehood and movement to you so you can bring them home for yourself, for your communities, and the Jewish future. Until we see each other again, Lehitraot, be well and be strong together.